Hi, this is Damien re AtHope, and I'm an axiological atheist, and now we're going to start the meeting.
I'm relatively new to this. Like, about like a year.
Isn't that a thing? Like an atheist thing?
How many things will still write down?
5.
5.
Do you want something to put under that?
I feel like I'm just going to put them in order.
Okay, so you want to put five things that like identify who you are, and then we're going to go around, and each time we go around, we're going to cross one off. And then when we get to the one that's like the most important to us, we'll kind of discuss. We'll just have a discussion about it, basically. And this can kind of, you know, and if we're pretty much all on the same page, it can help us decide whether we want to do like activities or what we want to do in the future. So for like volunteer work or, you know, that kind of stuff.
Should we avoid atheist? Because that's the example you gave earlier. And like, I mean,
Since
imagine
we're
us are going to be like,
obviously
yeah, it's like.
Yeah. I don't know, we can put it. I mean, I don't know if all of us are atheists.
Oh, yeah,
I
right.
guess all of us here might be at this point, but
Oh, that's right.
eventually,
that's right.
when we have more members, we
Yeah, I
might.
didn't think that through.
It's okay. It kind of goes hand in hand almost.
It's a lot harder than
I know.
Just like 5 things too. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I really don't know as much as I thought about myself.
Yeah.
So does this just include our life?
Mm-hmm. Just
Okay.
anything about you. It doesn't have to do with. I mean, it doesn't have to be related to secularism.
Okay.
And it could be things like animal lover or whatever, you know, like just things about you.
do you have a favorite?
I don't do that.
None of them?
Nope. Because to me, they're all based on some form of anti-realism or there's some form of non-truth. And I always say that to me, I don't need, I would have to learn 10,000 non-truths. Instead of going into your fantasy, I make you come back to my reality. So I force you to come back to the facts, to come back to my details, to my stuff. I do not go into yours. You are the one presenting something contrary to the natural world. I do not need to go there. You need to show me why my natural world explanation is unwarranted. In other words, I see this, I'm a rationalist. Anyone else who does not is an a-rationalist, almost. In other words, you're saying something that doesn't match. Like you said, a claim. You're making it. So I don't get into debunking your claims because you come with 10,000 things that are untrue. And it's not that people can't attack those beliefs. That's not my style. My style is, I'm just telling you, that's not my style. I will do it.
That's why I was kind of asking. That's what I meant by kind of apologize.
But I don't do that.
I know. How about a debater though? You have like a favorite debater? Or?
No.
Nope. None of them.
No.
Nope.
No, because like I said, to me, I would not debate falsely. You will talk truth. You will talk facts. I will not debate you on non-truth and non-facts. So every time you say a non-truth, non-fact, I will bring you back to the real world and explain why that is not a truth and why there is no warrant for that belief. It's a different approach. It's very powerful. I've got people to change their beliefs in a heartbeat. because they see the rationale of what I'm saying. But if you don't, then it doesn't matter what, way I could finagle your, false belief. You're not, if you won't stick to what's true, then it really doesn't matter. There's no, and I'm not about winning. So to me, some of the debates is about winning or
No,
losers.
that's not true.
And to me, I see myself as someone who's championing reality. That's what I am, a champion reality. Just like when people say, well, I think women should have rights. That's not something that should be, asked or an add-on. That is a reality. Of course, that is true. You shouldn't be saying anything other than that.
Yeah.
It
Shouldn't be an argument.
Right. So it's a totally different way to approach it. I don't need.
Do you think there's a wrong way with going another way?
No.
Okay.
It's just
that's what I was going.
I see it as in other words, what's religion? Let's say you debate a Christian. What's a Christian?
Yeah.
There can be 10. Well,
Yes, you spend 20 minutes trying to
there's
figure out what
41,000 denominations of
do you
Christians
believe
in
this
the
or
world.
this? Okay, I do believe
Right.
this.
So I
okay,
mean,
no, do you believe that?
Ken Ham and I'm just saying. Let's just stick with them. Ken Ham and Ray Comfort do not totally agree.
No.
My point is, if these two fanatics that don't even believe in the real world can't agree, why should I have to debunk that?
Yeah.
To me, this is a problem. I talked with someone today. They said, "Well, you can be an atheist in religion." I go, "You can be an atheist anything you want, as long as you don't believe in God." But it doesn't make it reasonable. It doesn't make it reasonable.
Oh no, exactly. Yeah, there's plenty.
You can say anything. I'm a Christian atheist. Okay, you don't believe in God, you're a Christian. Whatever. I mean, that doesn't. But it doesn't make it reasonable. It doesn't matter. You can say I'm a Buddhist, Taoist. It doesn't. You can say all these things. I go, this is what you understand coming from my position. The reason why religion is a personal experience and persuasion is because it is an untruth. There is no personal persuasion for science. There's no personal persuasion for logic. There either is the correct logic or there is not. I mean, so you can go on and on and tell me why you think it's okay. Okay. That doesn't make it reasonable. I see religion as an atheist, for me personally, as playing house when you're already an adult. Why? It's like adding some unnecessary nonsense. I mean, if you enjoy that, people do it. Well, then you can certainly do that, but don't look at me and say that I need
I'm the crazy one.
Yeah, that I'm crazy for saying I don't need to play house as an adult. I mean, I own a house. I don't need to do that. If you like it, okay. Another thing too is, to me, I always see religion like a gun. A gun doesn't always kill, but a gun is always the potential for that danger. So you can say, well, people can use guns safely. People use religion safely. But we can also say plenty of people that thought they were using religion safely ended up killing. A lot of people that thought they were using guns safely ended up killing. So to me, it's understanding that what it is not safe. To me.
In the slightest.
So once again, whenever you believe something that is an untruth as truth, there's always, to me, going to be room for error. Because this is, to me, what they think is that you hold it out here like it's a spider floating in the air. But I see the spider web. There is no belief that's false, that doesn't have connecting false beliefs to support it up. So when you say, well, I can believe in a God without anything else, that is itself an untruth. Because you have to, the moment that I say, well, can you explain it to me, you have to start lying. So to me, it is built on a process, and I tell people this, I'm not just an atheist. I'm an axiological atheist, which is a value theory. Everything has to have value or warrant. Warrant of goodness, warrant of that something is valid. Because it's not. It is a complete untruth. It's not valid. It's not warranted. You can't say that 100% of the time, that people are safe in using religion. Absolutely not. In fact, it's more the opposite. It inspires things like pseudo-history. It inspires pseudo-science. It inspires pseudo-morality. Pseudo-morality is a morality that you justify injustice, that it's okay because it's those people. People, it's not just that religion is the only one that does that. Political people do that. Like you said, misogyny or something. There's all kinds of people who use pseudo-morality. Oh, this is moral. But I try to tell people that the thing I see big time wrong with religion says the golden rule, and everyone goes, oh, that's so wonderful. It's actually not. Because really morality is not what you do to yourself, it's how you behave with others. So what I am willing to do, I mean, I have a lot of things I'm willing to do, but I may not want that for you. You may not want that. Maybe what is okay for you isn't. Like, I don't mind, say, being hugged, but I don't like people hanging on me. Maybe you do. So if I do what's good for me, because that's what the golden rule is, whatever I want for me, do for others. Well, just like, so a person that says, a radical Muslim says, well, if I was gay, I'd want to kill myself.
Yeah,
So because of that, I will kill you, and I'm being totally moral.
yeah.
Because I'm doing the golden rule. But that's because the golden rule is not really golden. Some kind of tarnished copper, infused with clay. I mean, it's like totally, to me, it should be do unto others as they deserve to be done to. It doesn't have nothing to do with me.
I think the veil of ignorance is kind of a good principle.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
And that's kind of like the evolved version of the golden rule, I guess.
Well, I don't see the golden rule as golden. I think it's a fallacy to begin with. There's nothing golden about the golden. No morality is built off of me, what's good for me, do to others. That's not morality.
Yeah.
Morality is what I do to others. How they should be treated. Like that would be, so I do understand what you're saying about the veil of ignorance. I know people may not know what that is. I know what that is. I can't remember. Is it John Locke or?
Oh shoot, I forgot.
I can't remember now, but
I'm much better with concepts.
But anyway, so the veil of ignorance means if, I think I understand, that if you were to be born right now in somewhere else, and they said you get to make the laws, you get to make what's legal and what's right. But you don't know what you are. You could be born a female, you could be born poor, you could be born a different color, you could be born a different sex, you could be born a different gender. You don't know. So who are you going to give rights to? Well, you have to give rights to everybody, the veil of ignorance. Everybody. Just in case that's you. But that's a selfish approach to ethics. Not that I don't think it's good, because some people have a problem understanding removing self. That's why the golden rule is so popular. People are selfish.
Yeah.
So I think it's good for people that are selfish to say, yeah, because if I only look at self, boy, I want everybody to have rights. But to me, it's extremely unethical. You should want rights for others that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
So I champion gay rights, not gay. I go to pride festivals. I totally support. I'm not a female. I support females totally. I mean, I fight females against females on Facebook constantly. Even with guys, but I don't do it because it relates to me. I always tell people, if the only rights that you fight for are your own, you do not understand the value of rights.
That was kind of my opinion with the whole teacher thing. If you were familiar with it, you guys have the big fights up there having it.
Yeah.
So like,
We were supposed to have Jamie gave me some stuff to look over. I thought he was gonna come talk about it, but he hasn't been here, so I'm waiting for him.
So go ahead and tell us.
Yeah.
They're just basically treated pretty poorly. They're like adjunct teachers and stuff like that. There's like 3 out of 4 teachers who are adjunct, and the school specifically does that, so they don't have to pay them health care, and you can pay them less. When you become a teacher, that's what you want to do, so you get another job at another teaching school, so you're on the road all day basically doing a full-time job with minimal pay. So it's like out there protesting, even though I might be a teacher someday,
Yeah.
potentially, but I mean, like these people are mistreated in this area. And I think the veil of ignorance is kind of like what led me there. So like any way that I can stand up for someone else, because if you're not currently a minority in something, which I imagine most of us are, atheists and stuff like that, you're going to hope someone stands up for you when you come in that position.
Right, I don't have to hope though. I'd say for me, mine is all value theory. Mine is, it's what's valuable. It's what's valuable to do as a person. Because rights themselves have an intrinsic value, that they produce something good.
Like cooperation in society, kind of? Is that what
The way
you kind of value that?
In other words, yes, everybody benefits when it happens, and it doesn't just benefit you. But to me, it's also the fact of understanding that in a sense, there is no such things as rights happening if only I have rights. If no one else has rights, then in a sense, really rights are not happening. Mm-hmm. It's really oppression. I'm just on the benefit side of it.
Yeah.
It's not really rights, it's just, I'm on the benefit side of oppression. So it feels good, but it really isn't rights.
Yeah.
So I fight for rights. So it doesn't, you say something?
Yeah, I get it. It's similar, but yeah.
You have to understand how axiology sees it.
See, I haven't looked much into the value theory itself, but I think from what you have explained, I'm kind of getting it. So.
Yeah,
Just everything has values. That's,
well, right, yeah, it's hard to, whenever you say something is good, you're actually probably using a form of axiology. The difference is, someone doing it, say you do it by accident, or me doing it with intention. I understand what is good, how to process that it is good, and then change my behavior, or try to be more in the benefit of good. It's just different, where you may do all that. You may understand what's good without knowing how. You may, do good without knowing how, and you may see the betterment of good without understanding why. So it doesn't that you have to inherently, like you said, you can be ignorant, veiled ignorance. You can do things in a sense, sometimes even for egotistical reasons, or even altruistic reasons, and not know why. The difference for axiology is just that it's like a form of rationalism, that I can process why, and then come to, and we all can talk here, and I can explain how axiology sees it, and we can all almost come to the same conclusion. So it's more of a mathematical approach to how you benefit goodness or something.
in regards to morals, I find, and I tell people specifically this, the majority of Christians, just because that's mostly like what I'm around,
Right.
is that I think they're much more moral than their God. And I can
Oh,
express
yeah.
that with like generally they'll say, oh, morals come from divine command theory, but the
Right.
way to get them to express that
They
is
don't even
not-
know what that is.
yeah, so. The way to,
Why
I
don't you
generally
explain
get them
divine
to express
community, because I know people the video may not know.
divine command theory.
Yeah, I know what it is, I
Um,
can explain it, but you go
Things are
ahead.
good because God says they're good, so he defines things are good, and then the opposite of that, or generally is presented at,
But so one of the things that Christians do, what you just said, so let's just take that right. So things are good because God says good. That means that any time God can shift what's good, and it's still good, 100% good, no matter if it's rape children today,
Yeah.
and then not rape children tomorrow, what is good is only relative to what God commands. So depending on wherever you slide it, a total pseudo-morality. Wherever you slide it, okay, used to be, slavery was
That's
good.
like when you talk about misogyny in the Bible, and like, oh,
Yeah.
you're taking it out of context. Like, that's
Yeah.
never okay. I
Yeah.
don't care.
Always
Yeah, they're just sliding
Testament.
that.
Yeah,
slavery too, that you
yeah,
that same thing.
slavery, yeah.
Like
Um,
they tell you exactly how much you can beat your slave, all that stuff, how much you can sell your slaves for, and that was okay back then because that was the culture then. That
It's
doesn't make any
pseudo-morality.
sense. That's still not okay.
Yeah, I mean, and the best way, at least for me, to get them to kind of admit that themselves is, say Hitler rose from the dead tomorrow and convinced you that he was God. And if he was God, he should be able to do that, right? And then would you worship him? And 90% of the time they say no. So,
Yeah.
Well, but that's just
But
funny.
they
It's
don't make
really-
that connection
Hitler
that
killed
it's the
less
same
people
thing.
than God has.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
Killed less
the
people
only
than God has.
psychopath that's actually claims to have killed everyone on the planet
Scott.
is God.
How many people have the
I
devil?
told people,
the
you know,
devil killed? Like
Yeah,
not very many
it's
at
10.
all. Like 10,
It's
yeah.
10, and all of them were actually on God's behalf.
I don't mean to stop, but are we gonna, if there is a class that
Oh,
does use this classroom? If not,
And that thing in the window says the class for math is canceled. I don't know.
Oh, all right.
I'm just gonna.
Was
Yeah,
it
go
just
double
five?
check. Yes,
Sorry,
we
sorry.
should we, okay, so
We should be able to
how are we
say-
gonna do this? Are we going to
So once you start, you
read
can
off?
talk about yourself first, and then read your things.
Okay,
Like,
but are we
what-
going to, are we gonna read these off?
Yeah.
And all, one at a time, or are we gonna just, okay,
Well, why don't you tell your name, a little bit about you, for the people that, make sure you're still in the camera.
in the camera?
Wait,
Okay, I'm Kayla. I'm actually the founder and president of this club. So, I was a Christian. I considered myself a Christian for quite a few years. And then I went to a Presbyterian church. And then I got a
How are
girlfriend.
they different? I don't know.
I don't know. I honestly couldn't even tell you what a Presbyterian is. Like, I just know that it was a lot of old people, and it was really boring. But I tried really hard. I wanted to be a good Christian so bad. But then I got a girlfriend, and everyone left and kicked me out of the church, and it really opened up my eyes to kind of how religion treats people who are different, and I've always been different. So I started looking into religion and all that stuff, and I slowly over time have gone from Christian, from theist to deist to agnostic or whatever, to pantheist. I
dabbled in Buddhism for a while, spirituality, I was spiritual but not religious. And then one day it just clicked that I was like, I don't believe in any of this. This is all stupid. And it was like the most inspiring moment of my life. So it's like when people say that they remember that moment they found God and it's all euphoric. That's how it was when I lost God. And I have pretty much been obsessed with the secular community ever since. And I want to be involved in it as much as possible. So that's why I started this up.
Awesome.
Yeah. Should I read my things? Okay, so for my 5 things about me, I put animal lover, atheist, humanist, and I put lifelong student because I love learning, and then artist.
All right, my name's Dylan. I was raised Roman Catholic. But at a very young age, I developed like a passionate love for dinosaurs. And everyone at the church is, the devil put that there to confuse you. And it's like, no, so it never really clicked with me, and I didn't really like church. But then about the age 13 or 14, I got a girlfriend, and she was Christian. And at this point, I didn't really care. I was just like, I got a girlfriend. And then she kind of brought me into that. And then I ended up like a leadership and did worship team and all that stuff for a while. And then can't remember what it was. I think just one day, I think this like just kind of creeps up on people that like you like start, something caused me to doubt it, and I decided I should watch, rather than talk to my pastors or something like that, it makes much more sense to watch a debate on like this subject. And I think that's why I like debaters so much, because that's kind of what converted me away from it. And you can't, I mean, I had actually experience in philosophy. I never really applied to like my religious things like that. So I knew what fallacies were and stuff like that. And I mean, it was real easy just to see the fallacious arguments and appeals that they'd make to, and how they'd specifically try to manipulate, or they're just basically showmen trying to manipulate the audience, knowing that they don't know quite as much in this field, to make it seem like it's a logical thing when it's absolutely not logical.
Right.
And so, I mean, I don't want to say like 3 months into that, I went to agnostic, and then I was atheist rather quickly when I understood, at least the label sense of agnosticism. I didn't go with. Still, I don't know. I still need to explore the more agnostic atheist thing, but you're saying it, so I just got to look into it a little bit more. I will, I promise.
Let's look into agnostic with an I.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Agnostic with an I denies that any of the things, it's like, goes back to correspondence. Like I said, one is that from rationalism is agnostic with an I, or is theological non-cognitivism. That's, rationalist goes to that. Then skepticism goes to agnostic, because it doubts knowledge. So one is saying that we can assess that you don't have knowledge, and I can tell you what you don't have. The other one says, I don't know what knowledge is in a sense, so I don't know that I don't know, kind of. It's just, it's a different persuasion.
I just got to look into it a little bit more.
I'm not, like I told you, I'm not saying that people can't hold those positions. I just say, for me, I only judge what's rational.
Yes.
Okay. And then on my list, I put philosophy, musician, I play piano and guitar, passionate, and then I put atheist, and I also put anti-theist, but it's not so much anti-theism, just any dogma. Yeah, any dogma. I don't know if they have an anti-dogma position.
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
We just made it up.
Label, yeah.
There is now.
My name's Wendy, and I am a free thinker, atheist. Well, let me just tell you, I came from Christianity. I was born into Catholicism, went to Catholic school for 8 years, then later in life became a fundamentalist.
Talk a little louder.
Then I became a fundamentalist, and I became an atheist by reading the Bible. That is what made me question everything about God. And I have been an atheist ever since, and I am a founder of Auburn Free Thought, meetup, and organizers and few other meetups that are free thought and atheist groups. So, and I, like Kayla, I am so glad that I'm an atheist. It has freed me in so many ways to be the kind of person I've always wanted to be, and I'm excited to read the news.
What is your thing?
Oh,
Did you do your things?
Yeah, I did.
I'm also a mother, wife, grandmother, and avid reader. I love books. Sweetheart.
Alright, my name's Hayden Lechman. I was a Christian at birth, non-baptized. But I never really, I always, honestly, since I was a kid, as far as I can actually remember, I never really understood why I went to church or had any clue what we were actually worshiping or anything. I just kind of was there for the crap.
Yeah,
I was there for the juice and the bread and all. And choir was fun too. But at a certain age, for some reason, growing up until I was probably about 10 to 12, somewhere in there, I actually kept the name of Christian because I thought the name was cool for some weird reason. And then I really realized what kind of boundaries and rules the religion actually set in my life, and I did not like that. And that's when I kind of freed myself from it, on my own decision. My parents had no involvement in it, so they just said, do what you need to. And that's as far as my life goes with the involvement of religion. I kind of turned to atheism and just kind of open-minded person. For my 5 traits about me, I guess, I'm pansexual, I'm agendered, I don't care, he, she, they, I really don't care.
Can you explain agender? Yes.
I don't really particularly identify myself in a male, female, or male group, I guess, in society standards. I don't really care, what people think of me, or, I dress cis-male, but I don't particularly like to act cis-male. And
I know what that means. Can you tell people, since we're doing that, what it means?
Cis-male is kind of like your society's point of view of what a male should really be like or act like in today's society.
Assignment at birth.
Yeah, exactly. Assignment at birth. But actually, this is something I actually just learned about myself the past year. So it's actually new to me, but
That's awesome.
I've always known deep down. I just,
Didn't know what to call it.
yeah, exactly. And so, anyways, that's I don't know how else I should explain that. But
Well, I just want to make sure that you use things that we know. I'm into teaching, so.
I'm a traveler, so I'm super outdoorsy. I love nature, and I love just, if you ever are up for hiking or anything, let me know. And I'm a musician, and I believe in unity and acceptance, and I believe that there is absolutely nothing that should divide any person, besides your actual conscious mind,
Cool. I'm Damien, AtHope, and I'm an axiological atheist, and I was raised in religion, first in a religious cult called the local church, and it's too long to explain how crazy that shit was, but it's a lot like Jehovah's Witness, I guess. It's a little more wacky in some ways, though, which is, I know, kind of bizarre, but yeah. Then I had a lot of abuse in my life, child abuse, and my mom was also being abused, and she ended up leaving, and she left us kids with my dad, and she became first a hippie, and then she became a Pentecostal and dancing around and stuff, and so at 13, though, I left my father and went with her, and was raised in that for a while. And I thought the cult was crazy. I thought the dancing and singing in tongues and shit, that shit was crazy too. I thought somehow the God was real, or I was real, just that. These, my parents were, just one version, another version of lunatic. And so, but I thought the Bible was true and things, and I read the Bible twice, and I started to come to some questions then. But I still believe somehow it was true. I just thought, it's that Paul dude. He was just trying to change things. So I didn't really, I kind of like had anti-Paul and the rest of Jesus and some of the Bible. Still, now I think it's totally, it's wanting to fit the fake world into the real world, and just you have blinders on, and you just see what you want to see, and so, but then I've been, because of my abuse and my really hard life, I got into drugs and alcohol at a very, very young age. I was very violent, had a lot of violence in my background, a lot of pain. I got into drugs and alcohol, and my heart stopped smoking crack at 15, and my liver failed at 17 from drinking and doing drugs. And I almost died. I puked blood for 2 weeks, had a 103 temperature for 2 weeks. I almost didn't. I didn't eat for 28 days, didn't drink for 3.5 days. My eyelids stuck to my eyes and dehydrated. When I got to that point, when I couldn't even cry, I felt sorry for myself. You can't even go to the bathroom. You don't know what the weird feeling is to not go to the bathroom for like a week. Because you just don't, there's no need to. And it was this hollow feeling. Just in general, I was just like, man, I'm 17, I'm like this big tough guy, and I can't even go to the bathroom, can't eat, can't do anything, and I did this to me. I finally got it, I can blame, child abuse and all this, the world's terrible and hideous, but I'm the one that did the drugs, and I'm the one that's sitting here freaking dying. Liver failure. I had yellow jaundice. It's called alcoholic hepatitis. It just basically, it's almost like alcohol poisoning, but a little bit longer version. It just means that some people can drink enough at one point to die, and I just drank enough for a longer period of time to die. Yeah. It's almost the same thing. It just means that a little bit longer version of I'm trying to kill myself with alcohol. But then I was sober for 18 years, and I thought, man, I want to help people. I want to get other people sober, and I went to a lot of counseling. And so then I went to college. I was still Christian, and I thought, I almost went to a Christian college. So glad I didn't. But I almost went to a Christian college. Something was like Grand Canyon University or something, or somewhere I was. Anyways, but I decided not to. I went to Rare College, and that's where they told me that to be a drug and alcohol counselor, I didn't understand spirituality and God. I'm like, I'm already there. They're like, yeah, but everybody doesn't have your persuasion, so you have to learn about other stuff. So funny, because I thought that all the religions were wrong. Of course, they're not Christian, so they're wrong. And they're not my brand of Christian, because other Christians are wrong. So, but then it was an eye opener, taking the class on comparative religions and going, wow, I couldn't even have told you what 5 religions were, yet I knew they were all wrong. I didn't even know what they were. I mean, the names, forget what they were believing. And I started realizing, wow, it's all kind of the same. And that really started making me think, well, if they're all the same and they're all wrong, maybe, just maybe, mine is too. And then I took a class on the Bible and started learning facts and stuff about when this was written, when that was written, what it copied. It showed the Emu Elish compared to the story of, the flood in Noah. I mean, the things almost match. It's like creepy, Sends a dove out, comes back with an olive branch. Sends a dove out, sends a crow out, comes back with an olive branch. You're like, dude, that's kind of close. It was close enough that you could hear plagiarism, like singing its loud voice.
Is that Epic of Gilgamesh?
Yeah, Emu Elish. Epic of Gilgamesh is part of the Emu Elish. Emu Elish is like a bigger book. It's like, or bigger grouping of books, I think is what's called. But anyways, I'm sorry. Yeah, but I know, like I said, I know some things that I forget.
No, I mean I was just clarifying for myself.
Yeah, Epic of Gilgamesh is part of it. Gilgamesh is supposed to be a king that becomes they thought was a real person that has a fantasy, experience to explain. But anyways, so but learning that stuff. I mean, I especially to me, I'm really on Satan. That was what really got me. Was the same thing. It says the devil, Lucifer, Satan, and the serpent. None of them are the same person. That was, I like heat went over my face. And they proved why. I'm like, I was so dumb. I was, like you said about, it was like a spiritual experience or anti-spiritual experience or whatever. I realized there's so much lies. Especially to me, like the one thing about the serpent, it says in Genesis that the serpent is the most crafty of the creatures created in the garden. Can't be a fallen animal, a fallen angel, a fallen devil, anything. Anyways, but so I came to it unlike some atheists where they come, like they read the Bible or they read a bunch of atheist stuff, I never heard an atheist thing in my life. I didn't even know what an atheist was. I just don't believe in God. In fact, someone said, "Well, I think you're an atheist." Like, I don't know, but I don't believe in gods. Okay, this is showing how stupid I was. I didn't even know what the concept was. Like, I'm just telling you, and I go, but I'm not an anti-Greek mythology. I just know it's all not true.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, that makes you an atheist. I'm like, okay, I guess. You know, but it's just funny. I didn't. So I've done a lot to try to research, like I did from my book, is I want to find out all these facts, and it's really changed a lot of things. And then the other thing that really inspired me, which is something I'll do in a second about who I am, is ethics. That really hit me. And we took like 5 ethics classes, maybe 6, in counseling, because there's so much of dealing with interpersonal stuff. You have to understand ethics. And I still will never forget how floored I was. I thought we're going to learn ethics. And the first thing they told us in class was, when you're in this class, you're going to read this book on ethics. Pick the one that works best for you. I almost could have stopped the class there. I was so dumbfounded. If it's true, how can we all pick something that's completely different?
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me that they have exactly equal value. 100% the same, and they're nothing. Some of them say kill people for the group. Someone says save the group for the person. Or it's like all these, they're totally contradictory, and yet they're all true. That cannot possibly be so.
Yeah.
That, and like you talked about, before they got to any of those religions, they explained what it is to understand the divine command theory and how just saying something is so has nothing to do with morality. Moral is.
I've got to go. I hate to interrupt you,
Okay.
but I have to leave because I got someone that's picking me
Okay.
up.
That's fine.
Sorry, guys. I
Thank
want
you,
to
Lindsay.
stay and listen. Great.
So the morality really hit me, and that's when I started getting into axiology. At first, I just started finding out what's universal ethics. That was the first thing I did. Is there something we can all kind of agree on? Is there one thing that's true that we can all say, well, this is true? Because I wanted the facts. I wanted correspondence, like theory of truth. What's one thing in fact in the world we can all agree on? Like can't do this or can't do that. So one of the first things for me to get was there's no such thing as just murder. Ever. There's just murder, just killing, but not just rape. It's just an understanding for me, because if somebody's attacking me, I can just kill them. If you attack me, I can't just rape you. So, but I know I can go on and explain, but just go ahead and ask one.
I'm not sure if anyone else knows here, but I'm not familiar with
Axiological.
axiological.
So, or axiology, there's two. Axiology is a part of philosophy in general, and it has to do with how you value theory or judge things. Everything, what is good, why is it good? What is valuable, why is it valuable? Actually, everything else is brought to that, because even understanding epistemology, what is good knowledge? What is valuable knowledge? How do you determine good evidence from bad evidence? Axiology is actually permeates. Anything that's reasoned is going to use some form of axiology, because you're establishing this is good, that is not good. In fact, it's even in everyday life. This is a good shoe, not a good shoe. How do you value judge this good shoe? There's a reason. It has good shoe qualities. Like a cup has a good cup qualities. It has to fit your hand. It has to be able to do a drink. But we can value judge that a paper cup, even though it can fit in your hand, even though it's hold a drink, it's not the same value as a glass cup, because it's systemic value. Its long-term value is very, very short. Even though it's immediacy, if we all need a drink right now, any kind of cup works. In fact, your hand would kind of work, as long as it puts liquid to your mouth. So anyway, it's a mathematical or a process, reasoned way of getting it. Then, which I'm more interested in actually, is formal axiology, which is a social science of values. And what that is a more removed from any form of philosophy, or any, but removed from form of opinionated philosophy, and moved away from religion kind of thinking, and goes to the scientific method to understand what is valuable. So it's a lot more non-religious and more stringent towards the scientific method of how we establish things. And that way more interests me. because being an atheist in general, that's
Or
good.
can you learn more about it? Like, see,
Well,
you had to take classes or something?
Well, I had to learn most of it on my own.
Like,
I-
just
I-
books or?
Yeah, but most of them are very expensive. It's a very hard philosophy to learn. I'm actually, I put some in my book now because I believe that you can't understand how to debunk religion morality unless you understand how to assess morality to begin with. If you can't assess morality to begin with, you can't judge what's good or bad. And it's just opinion. So I do put something in there. I write a lot on, I'm going to actually write a book called Axiological Atheist, but it's going to be my third book. I have a book now, I have another book I've already started on, and I have another book, and then I have the axiology. I would put it out beforehand, but nobody knows what it is, so there's no value in it. You wouldn't want to buy it because you'd be like, why do I need to know that? Once everyone understands, everyone will understand why you need to buy that. Because I've given you the value, but it has to first be given to you, so you can do it if you want.
What? Oh, sorry.
So when I say that, what am I?
Which-
The first thing I would say is I'm an axiologist. I'd say I put that before everything. Understanding value changes. If you change value, you change your whole life. How you approach things, everything, with a valued intention. So I tell people, like they say, a God-driven life. Well, I have a value-driven life. To me, that is more important than atheism. It's more important than humanism, because atheism, humanism, to me, comes out of it. Rights of people comes out of it. It's just how I live my life, my joy, everything comes out of it for me. So everything to me as an axiologist, I try to do it with intent and value. Then the second thing, I added gender for me, and I have to use more than one word because I don't have one gender, so I can't just use one word. I am mildly intersex, and I'm genderqueer male. And I was intersex at birth. It means that I have chromosomes and biological things that make me not 100% male. My outside body is probably 90% to maybe 85% male, and then some female. I had an opening on the bottom of my penis that had to be sewed up because it was still trying to be a vagina. A whole penis and balls can push into myself because it actually is a pseudo-vagina in there. And I still can function, but I mean, it causes, there is some things that make it different. I have a hidden penis, which means that it looks like I have no penis at all. It's completely zero until I'm hard. I'm not going to go into all that, but well, to understand what intersex is for people, I know that you don't know what that is. Intersex means that the problem is we have to understand everyone starts off as female. The genetic default of human is actually female. It takes 3 processes to make a male.
That's
Okay.
what gets me. It's because it's like, I don't know where the idea came in that males rule the world, apparently.
Well, it's the same thing with,
Well, yeah.
with like,
Mine makes right?
like white people who, like, we seem to think that we're like the default, but
Yeah, you're
we all
right, yeah.
came from
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Africa, like
Yep.
black is the default.
True, it is. So for me, and I didn't, like you said, you didn't know. Our whole life, I didn't follow the rules. I did stuff that like were pink and stuff, and yet I'm still kind of male and kind of not gay at all. But
You're gonna do what you're
how
told to.
how I behaved, and I wore bandanas and did stuff, had patent leather shoes and velvet shorts, and I would just do. But I was from Southern California, said, "Oh, you're just punk, or you're just dramatic, And if I wore a bandana or female glasses or just did stuff, they just, oh, that's just, you're just a trendsetter, or whatever. So, and I wear nail polish, and I don't have it, but I mean, I do often do, and I shave my arms and my armpits, and anyways, I did stuff like this the whole time. I just didn't know what it was. I was just being me. And everybody just kept saying it was bizarre. And I had a lot of problems with girlfriends, not gonna go into all that, but a lot of them say you're too nice. What they really meant, I was not male enough. I act too much both, because mentally, that's why I say genderqueer, mentally, it's about 60% male and 40% female. So even though my body looks relatively male, and I feel fine that way, how I think, nowhere close. So some of the things that I value and like and do doesn't match my gender at all, and I had nothing but problems my whole life. And that's one of the things I'm really angry about my family is, they knew that I had the surgery. They never told me. So it wasn't until I was an adult in college and stuff and learning about biology and stuff, and I started going, hey, what? So, and then also, I'm hypersexual. So I thought maybe I had a friend that had too much testosterone. I thought, well, that's what it is. Big guys, testosterone. testosterone. I go to the doctor, I have a testosterone check. The doctor's like, you have very low testosterone. I'm like, I mean, it was a crushing blow. It's like, saying that, that I wasn't who I thought I was. It was very devastating. I said, well, how low? And he said, lower than most women. I said, you did not have to go there. Because at the time, I mean, now it's okay, but at the time I'm not a man? He's like, no, you're not. I mean, that was like, I almost wanted to cry. I was like, my whole world, like, I felt full of shame. And even though now I realize there is no shame in that. I mean, but I'm just saying how I was raised, and especially like you said, religion says it's man and woman. And if I look like a man, I need to be like a man. And then I'm a man, and I'm like not a man.
And then it's shameful to be a woman.
It was shameful. And so I felt really, and at first I felt like angry and thinking, but then I learned more about it and realized that, hey, guess what? 1 in every 1,000 men have a gender difference towards female. 1 in every 5,000 women have a gender difference towards male. It's actually quite common. But I always tell people, no one has to prove that. If they say they feel that way, to me, I validate that is how they feel. No one knows what I feel inside. Because there's one time that this one lady, she was like about, 5 feet, and she was a lesbian, and she was androgynous. And she said, how can you be female? Look how big you are. And I said, well, I see, it looks like you're not following your gender. How can you not wear dresses? I see you wearing pants. How come you can't wear dresses? I said, it's funny how you feel like just because I'm big that I need to be male. Well, I feel just because you're small, you need to be female. You're not following anything you should. I said, I think that the problem is that we tell others, like you said, shame, and we tell others, this is okay. This fits what you're supposed to do. Not, hey, I don't know you yet. What is it's right for you?
Yeah.
Because what's right for me doesn't fit what I'm supposed to do. And I had nothing but problems. So that's a big deal for me now, is that I want to tell everyone, even though a lot of people say, like, how come you say so much stuff about yourself? It's embarrassing.
No,
I
it's
would,
not.
no, I'm saying people that say that.
Yeah.
I could never
You're
say
wrong.
that and, and talk about all the things you talk about. I do it because I care, because I don't want someone to feel bad like I did. I felt bad for no fucking reason. There's nothing wrong with it, genetically, science-wise. There's nothing. And yet I felt shamed and angry and all this. And I told my mom, I said, why didn't you tell me? She goes, we thought that you would pass as normal.
Oh.
And so, and what's normal though? The whole problem is, what's normal? What normal for me was, but you put me down the whole life. You told me I'm dramatic. And why didn't you, any time when I told you and I was doing confused things, like when people bought Doc Martens first, they became popular with rock. I got ones pointed with a suede. I had to go to West Hollywood. I was living in California. I had to go to West Hollywood to get it. Should have been the first clue that there's something different about them. You live in California, you can't go to the punk store and get them. You gotta go to West Hollywood to get them. But I liked them. But I never, so funny for me is like, I never thought there's anything wrong with it. It was always wrong with somebody else. I would do it, hey, I like that. And I would just get it, and everyone like, you can't do that. You shouldn't like that. That's wrong. But pointed Doc Martens, they even make those? They make them in suede? What? Not those. I'm just saying, And then I went out and got Doc Martens, and they were patent leather. I thought they were just the most awesome things in the world. And everybody put me down. Patent leather, Doc Martens, and what the hell? She gets steel toes, and but I'm just saying.
Steel toes.
Well, I'm gonna say that, but that's people. Maybe school's a lot different now, but I mean, even in California, it was pretty, homophobic and genderphobic, and it was male this and that, and I just constantly had issues. I fought a lot. Probably some of it was because of that. People put me down, and I'd get angry because I'm like, well, why can't I do what the hell I want? Anyways, sorry to go off. So I'm also a mutualist, which is a socialist anarchist. So mutualist just understands that in society it should be like nature, that nature actually benefits each other, that there's no such thing as a lone entity. Everybody really is needed. Everybody, it's affecting everybody else. You don't have 100% rights when you're with other people. Then some of your rights automatically have to be somewhat curtailed to everyone else to also have rights. So anyways. And then also, I feel like I'm a teacher and a leader. That's just who I am.
Well, I can't follow that up.
Yeah. Sure you can.
I've never read. I go by they them theirs.
You go by what?
They them theirs.
Say-
Pronouns.
They
They,
not
I didn't,
he or
I
she.
thought you were saying a name.
Oh, no.
Atheism in my life. My dad was Southern Baptist, but then my mom convinced him because she was like, oh, this, and that, and he was like, oh wow, I'm dumb. And then that I was kind of born Christian, I guess, but it's just like it never had a real influence. But like extended family is super religious, so it's like when I came out to them, they didn't take to it too well, and then friends didn't take to it too well.
You came out to them as what?
Oh,
Well, I'm just asking you to say.
yeah. So like, I don't know, I identify it as a whole ton of different things, so it's like a soup of gender and whatever.
Can you tell us, or do you not?
I don't, like, there's probably 20 words I could list off, but it's like, it doesn't really mean too much because it's just like, I don't know. But yeah, I guess like the most ones I identify with are agender and like pangender, I guess. So that and pansexual and other things, but yeah, I came out like that and they're like, no, and so I've lost, my aunt and uncle don't call me by my new name. 2 friends that I had for like 7 years, I've lost them, and like, yeah, I haven't come out to a lot of people next to where I live because it's just like really awkward / they bullied me a lot in school for being atheist, so I can't imagine what they would do if other things, so.
People are mean.
Screw those people.
They are, yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable coming out, like both gender and whatever, and like as myself, because it's like there's a whole ton of societal standards that, whatever, they don't, well, like, I don't have to follow them, like other people can think what they want, and that's their opinion, and probably wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess, what I wrote down is free thinker, some kind of gender, artist, a barrier breaker, which I like that,
Oh,
Yeah.
and then passionate and determined.
yeah.
Alright, now, the hard part,
You're supposed to like eliminate, but I
yes.
think we know this is true. No, I'm confused.
Okay,
Yeah, so how do we eliminate?
So we'll go around, and each time we have to eliminate one. And then by the end, we'll have just one left, which is the one that kind of, I guess, we value the most. And then we can, it'll kind of help us kind of, I guess, get to know each other, and if we want to, depends on, what our final choices are, but we can talk about things that we want to do in the future that kind of relate to them. So that, we're doing things that we value and that we care about with this group. So I'll go first. So just to remind you, I have animal lover, atheist, humanist, lifelong student, and artist. I think it's really hard, actually. I guess the first one that I would get rid of it's really hard. I guess I'll get rid of animal lover.
I think musician's the easiest thing. I love music, but it doesn't exactly make my entire world. So.
I'm on the same page as you.
Yeah, musician.
I guess teacher. I know. I like all mine.
I know, it's hard.
You go, wow, I really like myself a lot more than I
I
thought
like
I did.
me, I'm cool.
I'm gonna have to get rid of artist.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay.
trying to decide between artist and actually atheist, because for me, as an artist, it kind of shapes the way that I just look at everything. But atheism is kind of what drives a lot of. I'm actually gonna get rid of atheists. It's phrasing like. Because I don't think it's the most important thing about me.
And I'm gonna match up with you too, if we get rid of it. Well, you can't really be an anti-theist. I don't know, should I just,
Well,
Well,
you can.
you can?
Well, a lot of people you misuse anti-theist. Anti-theist is anti-theism. Theism is the belief in gods, or the belief that gods are needed.
That's what, yeah.
So when
I
you,
could
when you
believe,
say anti-theist, I could actually be a theist and an anti-theist. I could actually believe there is a God and that God is immoral or evil.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
So you could be an anti-theist without needing to be an atheist. I mean, just tell me, you can understand what you
Yeah.
want, but
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of people also usually say it means anti-religion. Only if those religions have gods.
Yeah.
Anti-religion means all religions.
Yeah, I didn't know anti-theist, just 'cause both of them are kind of equivalent.
I really like traveling. I love outdoors, but I'm sorry.
I have to agree with you too. I would get rid of atheists, even though because of my books and everything, it's a big deal to me. Actually, I wouldn't.
Well, I mean, it kind of falls underneath your, I'm screwing
Not
that term.
at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
That's what I,
Philosophy,
that's where I,
That would be my last thing anyways. I already know. Because to me, everything to me comes to ties.
that's a good idea.
I could get rid of some kind of gender, because that's like, it's me, but it's like something I completely
secular.
choose. So, or something I'm passionate about.
It's gotta be artist this time.
I know, I'm gonna have to say artist, because I think learning is slightly more important.
Molly's on her way.
This time
Yay.
we'll take it.
So, this is extremely important in my life, but it's not important to myself. So are we doing important to our,
But yeah, like who you are,
to who I am? Okay.
or like
This
what,
kind
how
of sounds
you
fucked up,
kind
but
of.
I'm crossing out unity. I'm sorry, I love you guys, but I'm crossing out.
I guess I'll go with you and cross out gender because that's just what I have to label for other people. I feel fine not defining what the hell.
Yeah,
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 so
yeah.
with people.
I mean, I like it, but
it's not the most.
everyone else seems to have more problems than I do.
Yeah.
Just be me.
That's how it tends to be.
Yeah.
These are two really good ones,
Yeah.
or three really good ones.
Yeah. It's like, they're all different, but they're all super duper important. Like, I mean, I got 3 hours sleep last night, so it's like passionate and determined. And then it's like, that's not a good trait. Or you go with this one. They want my sleep.
So I have humanist and like learning, lifelong student. That's tough because for me, as a humanist and someone who wants to help people, I feel like learning, like I am that way because I'm a lifelong student, because I learn about people. But I think humanism is kind of the outcome of it, so I'm gonna cross out. Oh, that's hard. I don't like it. I'm gonna cross off lifelong student.
Okay, I got
don't like
philosophy and passionate and determined, and I think that's a result of my philosophy, so I'm gonna get rid of those two.
Which ones?
Passionate and determined.
Oh.
Can't give me enough time. I think I want to group them together if I can, because I have an explanation of why I want to, but if I were to cross one out, it would just be pansexual. So, but I want to explain, like, when we come back around, why I'm choosing to do both.
I'll cross out mutualist.
Alright.
I think I have to cross off free thinker because it's like, I like breaking barriers. Yeah. Like,
Alright.
yeah.
You are a barrier breaker. I am a humanist.
Philosophy.
Agender.
I'm an axiologist.
Hello, Miss Lady.
Sorry for not coming today, but I've had to go all the way back home.
It's okay, we're taking extra time.
Is it here? We're recording.
I don't know.
Your back's to the thing.
Okay, wait. What are you doing?
Should I explain?
Yes.
Okay, so basically why I wanted to keep them both is because that's actually
Which would you keep? Asexual or
agender.
Oh, agender.
I wanted to keep both. In fact, I wanted to tie unity in with it as well, but like I said, it's all part of it. It's something I've really struggled with for a long time in my life. Obviously subconsciously, and this past year when I realized who I really am, it's opened myself up to myself, but nobody else. And to this day, I still go out into public putting in an act. Putting out an act for people that I walk around with in today's society. I have never felt like I can be myself just because I kind of get a weird, like, not kick, but I like to look up on the internet, of things like bad things happening to people, so I can basically flame on what, how messed up this is basically. So I'm constantly seeing like all the hate. I'm always seeing how much hate there is out in the world, and it makes me not want to be who I am. But I will always know who I am.
Yeah.
But because of this struggle, I want to say it's the most important part of me because it's something that none of you will actually still haven't seen of me. I'm a completely different person when I'm by myself. Second
I'm
that.
a little lost about what's happening.
Okay, so we all wrote down 5 things that kind of identify with who we are, and then we went around and we crossed off one each time until we ended up with just one, and that was kind of the one that we value most. Want to do it?
Well, the only thing is that I have to print when there's not at home, is I have to print a picture before the dark room
Oh, were you
closes.
just stopping by?
Well, I have to finish before the dark room closes.
Sense inertia.
I think it closes at 5, but you have to finish printing by 4:30, so I guess I have time, but how long are you guys gonna be in here?
We should probably be wrapping up soon.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what to write.
Just my take on that, but I've always looked up to people who just did whatever the heck they wanted, regardless of what society thought. So I always thought those were my heroes. So if that's like any encouragement, you,
Yeah.
those are the guys I lose. Well, the people, but
So, for yours, for philosophy, explain kind of what you mean by that.
I think every area of my life has been shaped by philosophy just in general. Even like when it was kind of, I don't want to say innate, when you agree, when you were kind of younger and stuff like that, you understood general principles, but you didn't know why you knew them.
But you're talking about rationalism, right? Rationalism believes that there are innate things. So empiricism says only external to the world.
I'm not sure.
Is that what you're talking about?
I was just kind of going after the logical absolutes and like how that's kind of.
Well, logical absolutes, once again, would be rationalism. Rationalism is intellectual ideas. So empiricism is observable realities. Those are the main things in philosophy, is external realities in the external world.
You can use both of those, can't you?
Well, hell yes.
Yeah,
To me, anyone who's a rationalist is not using the external world to start with their ideas, to me, is not being very rational. But I do agree that some of the previous philosophers a long time ago thought that too much of in they call pure reason, or like Kant would say, that understanding in your own mind is able to do more than evidence. And yeah, I agree with that. I think too much religion was seeping in there.
This is too hard.
So tell us about your background with religion.
That's how we got started.
Okay.
How we started.
Okay, well, my parents are like raging Christians, and I went to church like every day, or not every day, every Sunday, until I was like, I don't know, 16 probably, like a long time. But eventually, like I don't even know, but like eventually it became just me going to church because I felt bad for my parents. Because I didn't want to go, but I just went because my dad was like by himself. So I was like, I'll just go, like hang out. But then it just got so bad that I just was like, I'm not going to go to church anymore. So that's pretty much where I'm at, I guess. I don't know. You guys are putting me on the spot.
Sure.
Sorry, Dad.
No, that's yeah.
You're still in your journey.
Yo, I just had like really bad anxiety yesterday, so I'm just like
Out of it.
freaking out. Yeah, I'm trying to like calm down still. That wasn't working even, like you don't even know. Just I'm just like, I just got all this stuff to do.
What are your 5 things?
Well, I only have 4 right now. I don't know what the 5th one is. Hayden actually started it, and I just added one. Okay, am I supposed to start with least important or most important?
It
Just-
doesn't matter.
just
I mean,
read
they're
them
all
off, yeah.
important things to you.
Well, Hayden wrote dog lover, because dogs are the best. Queer, I guess, is the right word, because I really don't like, I don't know. I just don't like feel the need to like care, I guess. I do what I want. Well, I try to, but sometimes I don't. Science is important to me, and fun. That's all I got. I'd rather have fun every day than work.
So, which of those do you think is most important to you on that list?
I don't know. It's a tough time between science and fun.
Well, science is fun.
No, exactly, but I'm saying like,
Just when we were all doing the same thing, crossing things
Yeah.
out. Why
Yeah.
are we doing this?
I
It
don't know.
hurts.
Yeah, I guess I'd say fun overall, because I think that there's really no real purpose to life. Like that sounds terrible.
No,
But-
honestly, I honestly believe that that's
but-
true. I had someone at work that was having like a crisis. She was like, I just don't know my purpose in life.
That's why I have so much anxiety lately.
And she was
I'm like,
like
what the heck am I
having
doing?
a major issue, and I was like, you don't have to find a purpose. She's like, well, what's your purpose? And I was like, I don't have a purpose. I'm just
Exactly.
here and I do
Exactly.
what I want.
Exactly.
Trying to find purpose is pointless. It's a pointless
Yep.
question. Is what is the point
Well, I
of
mean,
life?
why would you even want? Or, I mean, maybe
It's a
in that
religious
sense, but I mean,
concept.
yeah, but I mean, why would you ever want that? Like, would you want your mom picking your college for you? And would you want your college picking your career for
Yeah.
you? Or, like, I mean, would you want your mom picking your classes for you and college picking the...
Yeah.
I guess, generally they'll say no. And, well, why would you want a God to decide your...
Choose
fate,
what
I
you're
guess.
going to do with your
Well,
life.
and some people are like, well, I
You
think
were
that
saying the word point, what you said? What was the word you used again?
For purpose?
Purpose.
Yeah, because she was like, what, I
See,
don't know what
purpose
my
is same
purpose
as
in
meaning,
life
is that for you?
Yeah.
That's how
Like,
it
I don't
Because
is.
see, to me, I think that a lot of us make meaning in our life all the
Oh,
time.
no, I think
Exactly.
I pick my meaning.
Yeah.
I'm saying that there can
Purpose,
be.
I think, for me, I agree with you, is more religious, because it means that there's some external thing within me. Purpose is usually not meaning, it's like how much value, like the axiology, how much value life has, it's meaning. Where purpose is like some kind of like goal.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how I was trying to...
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
And
Is that
I agree with you, I think it's almost, when you say a purpose, like I think there's a religious guy that says a purpose-driven life or something like that. Yeah, but he's saying that there's something that he has to attain. Usually religion,
Well,
it's a religion idea, usually generally.
Yeah, I feel like I don't have, like, I don't think that that's true. Like, I don't think that there is a goal. But, like,
Oh,
if
yeah,
I had
yeah.
to pick a goal, it would definitely be science.
Because you
If I
can,
had to pick a goal, I would say that obtaining the most knowledge possible would be the goal.
because you can have meaning without purpose.
Yeah.
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 My meaning is fun.
Right.
So you want fun.
Yeah.
What was yours?
I can't think of number 5, so sorry about it.
Well, now that we talked about meaning, I want to go back to unity, and I think unity is the most important now out of all this. I think unity and kind of just learning to just kind of accept and get over other people's traits.
And then yours was
Axiology. For me, value is everything. I always tell people that. Even my political ideas, axiology is first. My relationship, I have an open marriage, but axiology is first. And how I do that. So people say, well, you do it so well, it seems like your friends. Yeah, it's because I put axiology first.
Yeah.
I have value in my own marriage, and I value other relationships.
Is the harm principle part of axiology?
Harm principle? Well, axiology would be able to assess what is harm. Because harm is a diminishment of good. So in other words, I can show you a chart though, but I made the axiology in a sense, think of neutral. Everything starts in a sense of neutral before you value touch it. And then you assess how much it goes towards one way, and things are a little bit good, more good, best good, greatest good, little, harm, more harm, greatest harm. And there's everything is not. But a lot of things are neutral, and those things that stay neutral are just opinion. Like if she likes pepperoni pizza as opposed to pepperoni and mushroom or something.
Does it work on like the generals, like pain is pleasure is preferable to pain, kind of?
If you're asking about axiology, really, axiology is a tool. It's what you're trying to understand. So in other words, like say she says, well, a pepperoni pizza is better than a broccoli pizza. Well, depending on what her goal is her goal to be a vegetarian? It depends on, or calorie-wise, maybe the grease has more of a problem for diabetes than a vegetable would. So you could or a cake. See, depending if you say, well, what's a good cake? Well, axiology could help you. A good cake could depend on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to do it with the least calories, or are you trying to do it with the best flavor? So if flavor is what you're trying to base the understanding on, axiology could simply tell you what's the best flavor. The most creaminess, the most depth of flavor, the lasting, not too sweet, because sweetness is important in the cake, but too sweet makes the other one gag. So
It's kind of towards you though, like to you.
No, because we can all assess what in a sense, we all in a sense know what is a relative kind of good. We can objectively say that if it's 1 part sugar, and 1 part butter, that's probably not a good frosting to almost anybody.
Yeah.
If it's 90% sugar and 1 part butter, whatever. So in the sense that most people don't think about it, but actually axiology allows you to do more objective understanding. So, but it's first understand that axiology breaks everything down into 3 things: intrinsic, extrinsic, and systemic. Which those break up into several different ways they're applied. But just think of intrinsic as in itself. So like say the flavor of something in itself, then extrinsic, how that flavor relates to, like you said, different people. And then systemically, does that flavor stay good over time? Certainly eating cake 1 time right now, amazing. Eat cake every single day, disgusting. Yeah, there's value. The more I eat it, the less value it's going to have. Because I'm sick of eating cake and chocolate cake every single day. When you want to gag. So systemically, its value, the more it's used, actually loses. So it's ability, like I said, it looks at things as not black and white first off, and then it looks at how you're applying it.
It's like a weight, kind of.
Yeah, it's a hierarchy of value, what it's called. But like I said, it's kind of complicated. I would have to show you different things, and it really depends on how you're trying to apply it. One of the basic things of formal axiology is only humans always have intrinsic value. Only. In other words, they're always valuable unto themselves. So if you use humans as a thing, not as a valued thing, then you're using it incorrectly. You're violating axiology, which is very simple to understand, like someone's gender, like you're talking about my gender, that someone has a right to their thing outside of you. You don't have a right as a female because I acknowledge your right. You had rights before I acknowledge. You have rights if I don't acknowledge them. So that's what axiology would help you understand. You have intrinsic rights. So that's why it affects everything I do, because once you understand, like I said, especially formal axiology, just like there's understand in axiology, in fact there's a link I give you could read about axiology as it relates to religion. It's called, I think, Axiology, another victim of religion's war on science. Something like that. Anyways, but it's kind of complicated, but it's really good. I think the most important is he says God is an idea. So ideas don't have rights. So there is no intrinsic right of God. So, but there is an intrinsic right of humans. So when you say, I love God, you're not loving God as an intrinsic being. You're loving God as an extrinsic or a systemic idea. So that it would never have more value than human.
Yeah.
So
I
you kill 100 gods, you should never kill 100 humans.
Yeah. I shared like a quote or something from Matt Dillahunty or something about how I basically what you're saying, how I don't respect I don't respect ideas, but I respect people. And one of my friends commented on it and was like, you don't really believe that, do you? Because people and I'm like, I don't think you read that right, because I don't think people understand that ideas are separate things from people. And people get so like God is like a part of them, but it's not. It's not who you are. That's just something that you've been told and that you believe. And people get so offended because they can't separate those two things.
Right. Well, and like I said, a lot of times, yes, like, do I like Matt Dillahunty? Yes, I do like him. I bet you he doesn't know about axiology. And just like someone said, do I like Sam Harris? Yes, I like a lot of stuff he says. But I think it's sad that he doesn't talk. He says, one day science will make, morality. And I go, it already did like 20 years ago with axiology. It's a social science.
See, I have a question. This is like the first time.
Just opened up my eye just now. Well, yeah. All right.
It's about what you can tell religious people when they try to talk to them.
Well, good. I like that.
No, well, just the way you talked about, having value versus just kind of being instead of. You said having value. What's that?
Oh,
Thank you.
yes. And you
Bye.
can join the group.
Bye.
See you later.
See you
We're
next
good.
Monday.
You said it's more important to have value in yourself than to. I can't remember what you said, but you
There's
basically.
no idea. In other words, axiology would say ideas aren't even more important intrinsically than dirt. Dirt actually has an intrinsic value in the real world. Ideas don't. Ideas have systemic value. In other words, what they produce. What they produce in the long run will give a value. So, well, then you can't judge, because the first thing once I say they have no intrinsic value, they go, well, then you can't judge, if an idea is good or not. Well, actually, you can. You can judge what it produces. Mm-hmm. The idea itself is nothing. It has no dignity to violate. It has no right to existence. It is not alive. It doesn't have feelings. It doesn't have beingness. It is only an idea. So, especially in axiology, it's very clear.
Yeah.
Formal axiology, clear-cut. Ideas do not have rights. Period. There's nothing for them to. In other words, just like I say about God, there's nothing for you to put a right in. What does an idea have that you would build a place of a right in? There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Humans have that. So, in axiology, it's a hierarchy of things. So it sees humans as more important than animals. And although it would admit that evolutionary we are animals, there's something that we are different. Not God-wise, but axiological-wise. We understand systemic time in a way that animals do not. In other words, if I tell her I'm going to rape her 10 minutes from now, she's going to feel bad about it.
I'm gonna run away.
Well, no. My point is, or you, whatever, I raped you, or whatever. I'm just making the point that you're going to start feeling the effects of it, even though nothing has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Psychologically, you've already been damaged, and I didn't even touch you.
Yeah.
That's just a massive axiological is able to say, well, it's just your opinion that humans have, because without God, there's no way you can say humans have value. I'm like, you need to read a book of axiology, please. And it's just fucking total nonsense.
Do you think that's rather like open communication kind of plays a part of that?
What,
Because
the ability to understand? You
Well,
understand, well, this is a problem in general, is, tons of things, but, because it's very hard to know those concepts, but see this, how many senses do you have? Do you realize that time and space and texture and all kinds of of things that you don't think about. You say, oh, taste and smell. There's tons of stuff
Yeah.
that you understand. And you understand value, worth. The fact it's evolutionary for us to do that. Speaking of axiology also, there's actually a neuroscientist that has neuroaxiology where he figured out that's how our brains process. We actually process the world by value. Evolutionary benefit to us. We need to know which tree is good and what tree is not good. What people are beneficial to us and what not. In fact, you see this in babies. Babies as young as 3 months already know morality. They already can value judge what they like and don't like. They also understand how to be mean. Which is so we're not inherently good or evil. We're actually kind of the ability to do both.
Well, I mean, I volunteer at the Woodland Park Zoo, specifically with, not with orangutans, I don't get to like interact with them, but in that area,
Very
they talk about people,
much,
stuff
yeah.
like that. They're very, very smart, so
Yes.
they're quite social actually in captivity, not so much in the wild.
Right.
But, I mean, I'd probably be with chimpanzees otherwise, but it's very difficult to draw that line where I think they have I mean, they value things too, but
What I was saying is, even bugs, all things have axiology, in a sense. The difference in a human is we're able to process it with intentionality. They're more reactionary beings. And it's not that the higher level animals, like the orangutans or dolphin or chimpanzee. Dolphins rape. They're only one of the few animals in the animal kingdom that will actually do it as a sport, which is different. I mean, they'll grab a female, 5 males, and they'll rape her for like weeks. Keep her from food. I mean, totally.
That's fucked up.
I mean, they'll predatory. I mean, that's a level of. But then again, it's amazing what happens when you add too much thinking. You start thinking, you start having actually immoral behaviors. But that also, we can be morally judged because we can process think. So the reason why we can be judged is doing something. In other words, we don't judge someone who is mentally incapable if they kill someone because they can't process morality. We understand this. So the animals, in a sense, like you said, the dolphins, or I was saying that, it's questionable if they understand. Dolphins will actually rape humans. I mean, their behavior, can be very beneficial to us too. They'll actually attack other animals to protect us.
yep, that's true.
So I mean, but once again, to me, that still compared to humans, it's more need-based. We do things by wants, not just needs. I want something. Need is more like hierarchy of needs. We all need shelter. We all need food. In fact, if I start taking those needs away, you will do anything. Whatever morality or higher thinking you think you have, it will go. When you have nothing left, and you're trying to your survival, you will eat human flesh. You'll do almost anything. So, but humans don't live at that level. We live at beyond needs because we satisfy our needs.
Yeah.
Then we start doing wants, something that animals don't do as much. They route more. So, but I'm saying it doesn't mean I'm not saying that animals don't have value. I'm just saying that axiologically we're like the top in a sense, and then other things are below us. But like
So there's basically you're saying there's no line drawn. It's just like
there's no
up
line.
on top of the pyramid, I guess.
Yeah, but
So
just
would you agree then by saying us pets kind of have a want almost when it comes to like kind of playing with their others and stuff?
well, they have systemic value for us. So that they have an extrinsic value. Animals have extrinsic. They just don't have intrinsic value like we do. But they still have value. And certainly, house pets, as you say, will have value related to us.
Okay.
I need to know you.
I need to look more at
So it's just like I have a bunch of videos. I have YouTube.
You have a YouTube channel
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, and I have YouTube videos.
underneath your own name or?
Yeah, Damien, AtHope. I have like about 6 or 8 videos about axiology, and I explain how to run.
You just looking in it?
Yeah.
Let's turn it off.
I just wanted to make.
Bye.